Welcome to my shop, such as it is. It's become a catch-all for all the things that I'm too lazy to put away, and it's gotten to where I just can't get any work done. Time to change that, and until that's complete, there won't be a whole lot of machining. So let's take a tour of just how bad things are at the moment. Things are piled on top of things, and they just keep accumulating. There's a surface plate in that box on the top of the gray shelves. My workbench is nearly a foot deep in debris. My tool chest down at the far end, there's a Kennedy hidden behind that red one, are full, not totally organized. Then you can see my bandsaw down at the far end, 14-inch Delta. And here's my main machine tool. It's a Supermax mill. And I'll tell you, we had a fun time getting it into the garage. Has a power drawbar, so at least I don't have to climb up there every time I want to change a tool. And that's one aisleway of my shop. Here's the cross aisle, starting with the wall-mounted shop vac with the 30-foot hose. And we come to grinder row with a couple grinder wire wheels, buffing pads. There's my tool chest. There's a roll around rack that I'm trying to get some of the debris picked up and put on. An old tool chest that's mostly got, you know, the odds and ends wrenches that aren't in sets and so forth. Then there's in the foreground is my stacking tray, you know, my shelf trays of fasteners and miscellany. My stock rack. Down at the far end is my 9-inch South Bend lathe. And why do I have two metal formers, a 40-ton and a 45-ton? They do things slightly differently. And my modern Delta drill press, variable speed. It's kind of handy sometimes. But it's not like the old Rockwell that I grew up with. There's my 9-inch Rockwell. My dad bought it in the 1960s to work on a project with me as chief machinist. And the project didn't pan out, but I considerably furthered my education as a machinist. Here's my oldest machinist chest. In the foreground is a full set of 5C collets by 64ths and by millimeters, plus a few odd hex and square sizes. The top is mostly full of odds and ends right now. This is a Epic RPM and surface feet per minute reader. Spare magnet base, a couple little antique oil pots, machinist clamps, countersinks, more machinist clamps, surface gauge, old micrometer box, button back indicator set with the indicator elsewhere at the moment. The original South Bend lathe oiling points, and tucked behind it the obligatory copy of How to Run a Lathe. My nice little machinist square. V-blocks, Starrett V-blocks. An old school Stuart Warner tachometer. Certainly needs to be organized. A-bomb approved Magback 1-inch dial indicator. And micrometers. Right now there's a couple of 1 to 2 inch in there. Wonder where my lead micrometer, oh I know where it is, sitting in here. This is the Brown and Sharp slant line that my grandfather got me when I first went to become a machinist. I'm not sure where the model number on it is. If there is a model number on it at all. But it's a 0 to 1 Brown and Sharp slant line. I've disabled the friction thimble. You can take it off or turn it over. I prefer to do it by feel, and I can go to 0 with my eyes closed and rarely miss. But by hand feel. My drawer full of drill blanks, 2 or 3 of every easy fraction from a 1/16 up to 1/2 inch. I just find them extraordinarily handy. Okay, we saw the micrometers. A little bore gauge with a very limited range, telescoping gauges, and for some reason 2 1 to 2 inch and 0 to 1/2 inch. This is a gauge for making replacement spindles for the mortise latches around here. Kind of a catch-all drawer. It's got a couple of step drills, another step drill, another unibit, various small parts. This looks like part of a indicator set. Quill stop for a thread that I don't own. Miscellaneous chuck keys, silver and Deming drills. Hardened special. This is just odds and ends of things that aren't drills, aren't mills, but they are metal cutters. Set of center drills, a few extras, a homemade spot facing cutter, stub drill, very small pin vise, a Morse taper reamer of some size, a boring bar that looks impossibly slender for the stick out of the tool. I'm sure that never worked. A spatula and scraper. More center drills, including a very long one. Little long-handled rotary ball, and a drill which is in here for some reason that has a flattened shank. No idea why that's in there. Small files, including little tiny files out on the ends of sticks. But somewhere I have jeweler's files, but I do not know where they are. There's a little wording file. And a set of all one size, there used to be a dozen in here, 4-inch barrette shape. And a couple of flexible hones, another needle file. This is kind of drilling miscellany. I have a couple of tap followers here, one set to point and one set to cup. And countersinks, a countersink that limits how deep it'll cut. Another reamer. Abandoned drill sets, more countersinks, masonry drills, a badly mistreated masonry drill, a die all by itself, some miscellaneous taps, and calipers. Various hermaphrodite, or as I was sternly told when I first went into a shop, morphodite calipers, which I find to be about the most useful of any kind. Spare ruler, thread gauges, metric and regular, another ruler, ignition files, I suppose that really ought to be in there. Drill extension, large outside, tweezers, long drill, more machinist clamps, a real crude homemade machinist clamp, a brass whistle, and various odds and ends of picks and hooks. Wiggler. Little morphodites. Bevel gauge. A tap with a built-in follower. Chuck that up and you got a half-inch of travel or so while the spindle holds the tap straight. A very sadly abused little indicator that sticks. So it's okay within its the lower part of its range, but if you go all the way to the end, it sticks. So that needs some looking at. It needs to be in a better place. Little looks like Lufkin small dividers. Set inside calipers. Another nice round leg Lufkin again, inside spring calipers. Outside dividers. Oh, all tangled up. could get more use if they were better organized. And the bottom drawer. Here's a, this is actually from a woodworking catalog. This is basically a height gauge off the surface device. Here is not the one that belongs in the small case up there, but another button back. Whoa! Inside mic. Heavily disorganized. Why don't they both go in or both go out? Vernier depth large inside. Dial indicator holder parts. A homemade collet that does something, I'm not quite sure what. It looks like it might hold a taper. V-block clamps, drill gauges, V-blocks, homemade. No, it's gotta go down there. Gotta go down there. This one. So that's my oldest machinist tool chest. Further down here, just a handheld here. No, can't see it. My collection of tool holders for my AXA tool post, and including at the far end there, 2 of the 5 El Cheapos I got that aren't quite big enough to fit over the dovetail. So I've got a dovetail cutter, and I'll maybe make a video of opening those up. Won't be much, a couple thousands. So. And just a quick scan of my stock rack, all the odds and ends of long stock that I have. Oh, and my giant Noga indicator holder. And a set of cemented carbide tools. Carbide tools are just cheap stuff off of eBay. Well,